Hi, Toddy, is it? I'm sorry, I'm not sure of your name, if that's correct. I just thought I'd tell you this video that you were asking about. You're asking about solving a cubic because you have to do it as part of the one of the questions. Um, so, first of all, I just thought I'd tell you why we do it. If you're not sure, what's the point of it? The goal of it is to find out where the cubic crosses the x-axis. So, what we're trying to find is where does it cross the axis here. And it could be three different places, it could be only one. It depends on the cubic. So the first thing we'll do is equate it to 0. And the reason we do that is because the equation of the line of the x-axis is y equals 0. So if we put them equal to each other, it'll tell us where they cross. That's what algebra is for. It tells you where two lines will cross, and all you have to do is put them equal to each other. It could be a line and a curve, or a curve and a curve, line and a circle, whatever. But if you equate them and then rearrange it for x, it will tell you where they cross. So that's what we're trying to do here. I've used the example that was in that Quora page, and he uses two different ways of doing it. So I want to show you a third way, which has a tiny, I suppose, hard bit, which is going to just be a little cross, which you've probably never seen before. But I wanted to show you a better way than the way he did it in Ancora. He uses long division, which is an awful way, in all honesty. And another way he does it is by multiplication. That's fine, the multiplication thing, but he does it in a row, and rows are quite complicated. If you just do it in a column, you'll see in a minute. Hopefully, it's a lot easier. Excuse me, got a cold. Right, so what we're going to do is, first of all, he says just have a guess at the factor. Okay, so we're going to try and, because it's a cubic, there's no easy way to sort of figure out what the factors will be. So the first thing we do is basically have a guess. He actually says try low numbers such as 1, 2 or 3. Right, you would never try 3 for this because the three numbers that are going to multiply are going to end up with the result 2. So there's no way that 3 is going to be one of them. So don't try 3. Let's be clever about it. We're trying to factorise it, so we want to find factors of 2. So, sorry about that. So like he said, we could just find 1, use 1. Or we could use -1, 2 or -2. There'd be your 4 choices. So let's try 1. If we try 1 and cube it, and then do -2 times 1, which is -2, -1 plus 2, we see that, yeah, that's going to equal 0. So that means x is -1. X is 1, sorry, is a solution. If you put that in, that'll tell you, there's that one there, x is 1. It'll tell you the cubic crosses at the x-axis at 1. That means the factor is x minus 1. And the reason for that is it's just because we move the 1 over. So if you move it over, you get x minus 1 is 0, and that makes it a factor. So that takes me to the technique. Once we have a factor, we can then find the other two, if there are any. So what I do is I write the cubic again, or be clever enough just to write it once, and then draw a line above it, and then above that I'm just going to put the factor. So directly above the x and the number, I'm going to write the x and the number. So in this case, x minus 1. And to figure out the quadratic from that, all we do is just think about, in a vertical column, just like when you're multiplying two numbers together, what two numbers will multiply to give +2, when one of them is -1. And I'm sure you can figure out that it's -2. -2 times -1 is 2. So that's a third of the quadratic solved. The next step is the little thing that's going to be different for you, which you won't have seen before, but it's not difficult. All we do now is we're trying to figure out what the next term is going to be. It's going to be an x term here. The quadratic is going to appear here, you see. So we're just trying to figure out logically, working from right to left, what it is. So we've already done the right hand side, so we're just going to do left, continue on as we go, working right to left. So we're just trying to figure out what the x term will be in this circle. So to do that, this is where we do the cross. So this is this new thing. What we do is put a cross there and just think about what we're going to get. So here, if we multiply along the lines of the cross, we're going to get -2x. Okay. but we need to get minus x in total, so in other words we need to get minus 1x in total. So if I've got minus 2x, I need to add x to that, and if I add x to it I'll get minus x. Minus 2x plus x is minus x. So here, the x term, it's really a question of how many x's there are. So there's the x. We're going to need a minus there, because for that line of multiplication, minus x times minus 1 is x. So if you add those, multiply those two lines, along those two lines, and add the result together, we get minus x. So we know that the second term is minus x. Finally, the third bit is very straightforward. We just need to get x cubed. And to get that, I need to multiply x by x squared. And there we go. So we get x squared minus x minus 2. To factorise that, we can actually use the same technique. So we could write it down like that, draw a line across, and then just think what two numbers multiply to give minus 2. There's a couple of choices, 2 and minus 1, or minus 2 and 1. So let's try one. 2 and minus 1. Now, what we then do is just add those two numbers together, and if they don't add to give the minus 1 here, we've got minus 1x, it's wrong. So plus 2 minus 1 is 1, so that's wrong. So the signs must be the other way. With practice at this, you just sort of start to see it. We should do it 5 or 6 times. So that should be a minus, and that should be a plus, because minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. So that all works out, and then to get x squared, the left-hand column multiplying will give me x times x, which is x squared. So it's going to factorise 2 x minus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 1. And if they're equated to 0, and these brackets all multiply, and the answer is 0, that implies that the brackets themselves are equal to 0. So that means that x is 1, like we found already, x is 2, and x is minus 1. So I didn't actually draw it correctly, this is just a rough thing I did to show you. But if it was correctly drawn, it would be 1, 2, and minus 1. So let me draw that correctly for you. So 2, 1, minus 1. So it should be, and it's going to go through 2 because of that. So it looks like something like that. Okay, hope that was of help to you. Please let me know if you've got any more questions about it. I just thought I'd make that video for you, and hopefully that it would help you a little bit. Okay.